Now you're pretty much good with basics of Houdini. You will be familiar with these nodes by now. So in the first introductory SOP, we learned this very few, and then we learned a little bit of some expression and also Houdini's inbuilt attributes. And then we jumped to little more nodes on Mountain, and we did a simple abstraction, and of course the group node, the power of group nodes and the power of copy nodes. So after teaching these many nodes, I was like, why can't we create a project based on what we learned? So that's why I came up with something like this, which I found on internet. Okay, this is not my render, but we will try to get something like this based on what we learned. And also I'm going to introduce you some more nodes which we can replace the older node. There is an advanced node in this. Instead of taking one node, we have another node. So I'm going to introduce you 2 or 3 more nodes in this, and we're going to do something similar to this. Right? So let's begin. The 0 to 1 series is mainly concentrated on people who doesn't have a 3D background or any kind of digital touch to their life, like even who doesn't know Photoshop. I started with Photoshop, so I think that's the story of most of the people. So I have created a project. It's in here, it's in here, and I created M121.net. all right, and I will save it so that you know the beautiful structure. Yeah, if I go to the job, I get this, and type in the name, of course, module 1 project.net. right, so we have that now. So now if you go anywhere, you will have that set up already. Like, just an example, see, if I go here, so if I click on the hip or job, I get inside. So handy. Okay, so delete it. I'll start from the scratch. So first we're gonna analyze what is happening in here. Okay, so I'll full screen it, and yeah, so you can see the shape of the donut is something like this, right? So we know we can replace that with a torus. So we know in the primitive we have the closest shape of donut is torus, isn't it? But you can see donut is not completely as torus. You can see the shape has lot of noise, or like, what do you say, lot of jiggles. So this is like not perfect round, there's like jiggles. So we know that in the previous class I taught you about mountain node, right? So we can replace, we can try to get that shape from mountain. All right, and the next one you can see is that the shape of the torus, like on the side, is not bulgy, it is more of straight. Okay, so I'll show you what it is. Like in the torus, we have a circle kind of, like a spear kind of outer board, but in the donut shape, it is more of straight, like this part is more of straight. The edge is straight, not bulgy, like it doesn't come out in the middle. So we have to fix that. I think you can do that with the node we learned. Also, we will try to do as much procedural as possible to do all of this. All right, so of course there are many tutorials in Houdini, in YouTube, about donuts, but what I came across with the other YouTube donut video, they were using a lot of advanced tools, but we will try to replace it with the basic tools that we know. All right, and also I wanted to introduce some other nodes as well. Right, so you can see there is a lot of tubes and spear. Now you might be wondering, like, it is very difficult to place each tube and spear here and there. It's very mess, right? But we also know or learned that this can be all these you can see it's all distributed. So when something distributed comes in your mind, then think of scatter node, because scatter distribute points. And also think that we can replace a particle or a points by a geo that we create. So we're gonna create a geo of tube and a sphere. That way we can replace all of these in a minute, in a second. We can just distribute a scatter point from what we learned in the copy points class. We know how to get a depth scatter by using iso offset, like remember guys. Yeah, so that way we can replace, and obviously we can replace this as well with the point, distribute some point on the top layer, top chocolate layer. So we can create that top chocolate layer as well with a little bit of poly extrude and stuff. So you have a basic understanding. Like, I think the analysis is pretty clear. It's like you can replace all these, that chocos, what is that? I think it's nuts. So all these nuts we can replace by a geo that we have to manually create it. And these lines we know that we can create, not exactly though, but a little bit of same from the knowledge what you have right now. We can replace it by you draw a curve, or you draw a curve line and then replace that with the PolyWire, then you get the similar effect. So without further ado, let's start. Then as you start, you will improve yourself, because there is great artist in you. So no matter what, you just start, then you will finish it. Right, so I create a project and I save the project. So I'll start with a geo. First we will finish one of the donut, and then we know that we can either copy paste it, or we can do a similar techniques. Okay, so let's do that. Project donut. One more thing I would like to add is this is going to be a still image. This is not a simulation. There is a part 2 of this project where we're gonna do simulation, like dynamics of not the chocolate part, but how you sprinkle on your donut. So in order to show that, I have to first finish the pop network, which is going to be the next video. Pop network, which is very cool, cooler than what we learned right now. Okay, so let's begin. So I'll start with a torus. We need more rows and columns because the shape is very bad. Okay, so that's why I'm thinking of doing more of rows and columns. So I'm lazy, so what I do, I just select and drag to the row wherever you want, and then absolute reference. And you know that it is 24, but I want it to be half of it. Just like that. It's a personal preference, you can go. So this way, you have the half row which will maintained. Okay, so for now I'll go 50. So I'm going to show you 2 methods. First, how to do manually, how to do this shape. Okay, to do manually. All right, so of course you know that manual have some limitation with the procedural. So but I wanted to show you this node called Sculpt. So Sculpt, I believe you guys know what does it mean by Sculpt. Sculpt, it is common words, just like what do you say, sculpting the statues, sculpting your wood. What it does is similar to that. So if you click there, you have operation, and if you go here, you won't be like, what should I do kind of things. But don't worry, you click here the handle, then you have this. See, as soon as you touch the geometry, you have this what do you say, a circle kind of thing. So as you go, you're also, it's like circus rolling. Yeah, I'm not clicking anywhere. I haven't clicked, I'm just moving the mouse. All right, so what does it do? So if I click it, I can see that. What does I do? All right, so it is like pulling up, so isn't it? So just right click or left mouse click, then this is what I got, I get, and I undo it, because that looks so bad. All right, so what you can do, so if you scroll your mouse or wheel, okay, you can adjust the size of your brush. Okay, and also you can do it from here if you want, and click here and give the value that you want. This is too much, so I'll just raise it slow. Okay, so and then like how you want, you can sculpt it. Okay, I know it looks weird and you will be probably saying in your mind you need more resolution. Of course I want to show you that technique as well, so that's why I'm not increasing the resolution, because I want to show you another method. So this is what the shape I end up with. I know it is really bad, but I just want to show you what Sculpt tool can do. And in the Sculpt you have like, you have plenty of option and option, and you can see LMB is a displacement, and MMB displacement has a negative value. So what is negative and what is positive? So positive pulls, you know, 0.1 times higher. It's like if I keep it 1, then it's going to be very big, boom, boom, right? So if I keep it default, or like, you know, yeah, very small, something like this, and then I get very slight extrusion, or what do you say, not extrusion, this is not extrusion by the way. Okay, extrusion is giving you new topology, but this is like whatever you have and you are just pulling it up and down based on the value you give. And middle mouse click, or in other words, if you go minus, then I'm middle mousing it. Okay, middle mouse, then it's going inside. All right, so that's how you sculpt. It looks so bad, of course, but don't worry. So how can I fix that? That's the question, right? So you can do erase changes. Like you have option in the operation is basically like, what is your operation? What are you gonna do? What are you up to? Kind of that. Okay. So this is this deform points. Deform is like you know, pulling it up or pulling it down, deforming it. Okay, so that's a term we use, basically deforming, right? So you can say no, smooth it. So easy way is that go smooth and apply all, boom, and apply all, boom, boom, boom. So you get this, whatever you do, you get a smooth of that, right? So another one, erase it. Okay, erase whatever I did. So that's how you can clear what you did. Or you can also apply like reset all changes, then you get back to the basic. So that's how you can smooth it, like apply all and it smooths, right? So this Sculpt tool is not that good node to play around, but if you are into sculpting, then I suggest you to learn software called ZBrush. So this is how it's gonna look like, ZBrush, where in industry standard software that you basically do the, you know, creature modeling and all of that. Like you get all the details. I'm not saying that Houdini can't give you that detail, but this is more like you have a lot of brushes in the ZBrush, and most of the 3D characters are born in ZBrush. So check out ZBrush if your interest is towards sculpting. Houdini is best for effects, and nowadays they are improvising in other section as well, like animation and rigging and stuff. We are here for effects, so we will be hardly using Sculpt tool. It is very straightforward. There is nothing extra to teach. You can change the radius the way you want, like this. Yeah, see, and the pressure of the radius, of course, the pressure, how pressure you want. Just whatever you see, that's what. And opacity means it's a strength. In sculpting, it is strength. In Photoshop user, you know that opacity is like reducing the dimming the image, right? But here it's like the strength of, like you see this one and you see nothing, it's not working because there's 0. But if you click here, you can see the difference, opacity. So opacity has a pressure also, and that's pretty much it. Like you can just check it. So I'm keeping everything to the default, and I wanted to show you I'll reset everything. I want to show you what is symmetry is. So symmetry means if I click the reflection and you can choose the angle. So right now this is in the z-axis. So z-axis is this side. So yeah, now this is z-axis, z minus and z plus. So if I do anything here, I can get on the other side as well. See, it's like a mirroring. Basically it's symmetry. Okay, so there's plenty of use when you're doing a face model or something. You can sculpt the right side of your face and you get the left side also the similar actions. If it is not there, then it is very hard like to get the exactly where it is. It's very hard, right? So that's why symmetry exists. And so what is rotation is that it's going to give 3 side. If you're going to show 9 side, then I will increase and then I will again reset. So 9 side, okay, it's going to give you 9 side. So it's going to give you, see, even here a lot, right? So 18 side, so you get 18 reflection, number of rotation stuff. So see, it's based on what you're after. You'll be thinking, why am I ignoring? Because these are, you know, straightforward. Like you can even change this shape of your brush. It's all straightforward. You click it and do it. So that's it. That's pretty much it about Sculpt tools. It's all in here. You explore it by yourself. It's straightforward, and this tool is going to be least used, so I don't want to waste time on that. What I want to show you is that, for suppose you did this and you changed your mind, you wanted to increase the rows and column, then it's going to destroy everything, right? So what can you do? Like the sculpting, you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. You want to keep this and you want to improve, you want to increase division. So then no problem, there is a tool called Subdivide. So it's going to divide like whatever you have, it's going to divide that. See, now you'll be like, liar, last time you said it's very hard to get that. I told you, right? I'm going to teach you step by step. But of course this is not procedural. I again tell you, it's not procedural. This is like some great escape. It's like now you're like, oh yeah, I got this is better, right? But you know, I wouldn't suggest you to do manually everything. So that's why, like, I want in the beginning itself, I was trying to keep everything. I'm trying to drag you towards procedural, because you'll spend maybe half an hour extra for what you're after. To make it procedural, but then you don't have to, you know, go back. So that is manual method. Okay, manual method of creating the shapes the way you want, but we're not gonna use it. So next, our objective is to make the side a little bit straight, or like with controllable. So you can see here the side is bulgy, right? The edges, or whatever you call it, is bulgy. So we need that to be straight, and even here we need that to be straight. So that's what in what I understood from the picture. So it's all straight, it's not bulging in the middle. So to do that, we will try, of course we won't be using any manual. We will try our best to stick with what we know. Okay, so first we'll bring a group node, because group, then we can group it and we can modify it. All right, so we need the side, right? We need the side. So you can either take by, of course, now you can think like, okay, base, there is no group coming, so ignore that. In this method, ignore that. And bounding region, yes, we can do with the bounding region, of course, like keeping it manually, but we won't be doing that, because bounding has a limitation as well. Like if you do this and later you change your size or what, then again you need to adjust that again, you know, like from scratch you need to adjust. Of course it's not that hard to do when compared to the sculpting. like which we need to start from scratch. Here we don't need to start from scratch, but that is breaking, right? So like we will try to make you know, as lazy as possible, right? And one thing I want to show you, a cool technique that I always want to show you is that so before, like right now we know that it is not on the ground or the grid, it is in the middle of the grid, right? It's in the center. Previously what I showed you is right click, copy and paste it. That way you can get it on top, right? But even this is tedious. Of course, a great Houdini artist, they will be like, oh, this is a tedious. Like, what if you want another object? So I'm not talking about donut right now. I'm talking about keeping in the middle, right? So previously I showed you the copy method, but even that is not like if you bring a test geometry or something. Okay, if you bring a test geometry, then again you have to, like, it is very hard for you to keep this thing on the middle. It's like on the ground. So it's like you need to, like, oh, so it is like 1.5. Come on, that is bad. So what is the solution for that? It's like each time you bring a new object, you need to move it, right? So this is Houdini. There's always the easiest way, right? So you can see here, so I'll start from here. You can see here, if you middle mouse click it, I'll delete to the default, right? So in the middle now, and you can see that if you middle mouse click it, so I haven't explained you what are these. Okay, so you can see that there's a minimum as a big value. I'll get a box to explain that, which will be easy to explain, of course. So you see this, you can see minus 0.5 x. So we know that this is x, y, z, and minimum is minus 0.5. But you are like, no, there is nothing like that, isn't it? And the maximum is 0.5. What is it? What is the value? Where is this value coming from? Oh, that's easy. It's like it is the value in the 3D, right? So if I go, so to further investigate, we go to the front view, right? I think you see here the middle, you can see it's like minus, the minimum is minus 0.5 in the x. Okay, so let's see, let's keep this is minus x. Okay, right now you can't see the point value, so I'll just keep it into the, so I give a round figure, right? So now you can see the minimum is minus 1. See, we are in the minus 1, and it is here the minus 1. And if you don't trust me, then let's go to the minimum y-axis. Okay, we'll keep it 2. Okay, so now if I middle mouse click it, the minimum is minus 1.999 blah 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 2, isn't it? So that's what this value is. So size is the total size is like the positive value, like you know, plussing it. So minus 1.5. Of course, in the math, don't think about max, minimum. Don't think about mathematics. Think about this is like, this is the word position. This is the minimum position and the maximum position in the grid, and size is the total size of the box, right? And center is, of course, see, there is nothing to explain exactly what it is, right? So now you know the value in the minimum and the maximum, right? So that is our key thing. I put everything in the default, right? So this technique won't work inside here, but it will work in a transform node or any other node. So so the reason why I will tell you, so you bring a transform node and you type in so which value you want. In order to pull this up, we know that it is a y, and we need the negative y, like we want the negative part to be the up, isn't it? So this is a great expression. Of course, it's a dollar expression operation. This is dollar, so negative, because we want from the negative value, and dollar y, so y is the which axis you want, and then which one do you want, the minimum value or the maximum value? We need minimum value. So if I click it, enter, boom. So you want the maximum value, then maximum value, then you can go maximum value, boom. So you see that negative maximum value has come down. So it's a great technique. You can type in even here. So if you want that, if you want right now the x value, so if you middle mouse click here, you can see the x value is negative. You can pull that here by saying that, okay, no, move the negative x, I guess minimum, I guess, let's see, yes, see minimum, it moves it. So now the best part is you do whatsoever, okay, you increase this and it's going to stay in your grid. And of course, if you increase the size also, of course, it's going to be in the grid. It's a really cool node, isn't it? So another good example is that, like, you know, before we have to do copy paste for everything, right? Like every geometry you give, then you need to copy and paste. But here, like, all you have to do is plug this transform node there, and voila, see, it is on the ground. So same way, we're going to apply that to the torus. See, it's in the ground or grid. And I don't want the x, like let it be in the middle. So I'll delete this expression because we are not going to use it. And what is it? And put it 0. So it's in the middle. So we only affected this one, y min. I hope this is like really good, and you know, it's, you see, more easy, right? More easy. Now you can, this is like the gold, bring up. Okay, so really easy. Okay, now let's continue the group, and we are not taking the bounding region, but we need angle, right? Angle of this set. So we know that include edge has this angle based where we can adjust. So we know that the angle is not that big. Like you can see that the angle of each edge or primitive, like we are in the primitive, so primitive. So the base group is turned on, so I'll turn off, then only we can see the difference. Okay, so now, so you have to play around the value. Okay, so yes, somewhat like this. So you got middle, and of course we got this one. If you don't want to do any changes here, I'll give you that technique also, like how to deselect a group. But for this exercise, this is helpful, but I will also tell you how to deselect some part. So there is a node called, of course we can transform and do it, transform and bring that group. So group and then scale it, you know. So this has a limitation because it doesn't have a soft coming. So then just type in soft, then you can see soft transform or soft peak. So we type soft peak. Okay, soft peak is really good, but the problem is if you hover over, so every time you do bring any node, just hover over, you can see that, oh, it's going to subset only to the point. So yes, we know, I'll change the name, shaping. Okay, and then we know if you want to make it point, we can't do it here to the point because edge will, this minimum angle and maximum angle only takes primitive or edges. So there are some rules you need to know, or you know, if in case you doubt it, then keep your mouse over there wherever you are, then you get a little bit of understanding, you know, group primitives at least, you know, for edge group. So you can see that it's written that group primitives or edge. So like that's how you will know like what to do next, or they are guiding you. So we know that it need a point group. So we know group promote, where you can promote primitive to points, and you tell the name and give it a name, point shaping. Okay, PT shaping. Go here and take that point shaping, voila. So if this color doesn't come, then you probably will be in the selection tool. So you go to the show handle tool, then you get this, and now you can adjust. Like, wow, like how much do you want to adjust? You can adjust it. All right, and you can control the radius, how radius, or what do you want to do with the radius based on your what you're after. You can adjust it. I know the circle is too big, so what I'm going to do is I will change from the main. And if you don't want, in the middle, if it is bothering you, then what you can do is that you can avoid that selection. It's like right now you have this selection. So if you want to ignore or remove this group, then there's this node called group combine. So group combine is basically, if you have more than one group, then this can help you, intersect or minus, or it's like if you have a two group, combine that two group, kind of that. So for this you need two group or one or more than one group. So I'll keep a group. Okay, so I'll keep a group, say that ignore group, ignore, and ignore what, right? So ignore like whatever I'm selecting. So whatever in this part, just ignore it. I'll take sphere is much better. So I've taken this area. What I'm after is, it's like I have this part and I want to ignore this part, right? So I created a kind of bounding box here, and I'm gonna say that like ignore whatever in here, whatever in this group. Okay, so I've said, okay, I'll give a new name, modify group. It's going to be like shaping with subtract with ignore. See, it's pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. It's like modi group, the new group, equal to shaping minus ignore. So shaping has this and this, and ignore has some kind of region, saying like whatever in this region, subtract it and give it a name, modi group. Okay, so that's what happened here. So you have that modi group now. So now you can promote. Right now you're promoting the point shaping. You can say that, okay, number of promotion, I'll click one more. Okay, and I said, okay, promote a modi group, and the new is called new modi, new modif. Okay, so now according to that, you can, now you have two options basically. It's like here you have new modi or point group. So the new modi is this one, new modi is this one, okay, and the old one is this one with two. All right, so it's up to you, personal preference. So I'll go to the new modi. See, I can control only that part. So it's up to you basically. So I will take point shaping, but even this inside is taking too much. So in the main torus, I'm adjusting that whole part. Okay, so as you know that as you increase it, even the height is also increasing. Keep that in your mind. So like what I believe is that it doesn't have too big hole, it has a medium size hole. So I believe this is good, and you can adjust that height by giving another transform node, and in the y-axis you just change it, then you can size it, then you have that shape. Okay, you can modify depending on how you want, like you can modify. Even here also you can modify. In the shaping also you can just go here if you want very less. So if you want to have a smaller selection, then obviously you need to increase the rows and columns. So you increase it, then you have more selection coming. So then you go here and adjust the edge length, of course, based on that. So I have changed some settings So it took me some time to get what I'm after. First thing what I did is in the torus, I increased the columns. Okay, so columns, because I need one more line, because in the soft peak takes the area, so whatever you are selected, so which is this one. Okay, so this area will be the red, and then the yellow, the soft next things goes. So to get that proper, so it took me some time to play around. So you need to play around with the with the selection first, like take very least one, and then you then if you do peak, then it's going to have it will give you this yellow. That's the thing I did. One in the torus, I increased the column, and then in the group, my edge length maximum and minimum is this value, and in the peak, I kept the distance this value, and of course the PT shaping. Why PT shaping? Because I want inside as well, right? And to get inside a little more accurate, then I have increased the size of this, so as a default it will be like this, and what you're gonna do is you just increase the hole the way you want, right? So my hole will be this much. Don't worry, this is just a basic setup, and the height is also too big, of course, I know that as well. So I brought a transform node, and I scaled down the Y, so I have sized down the donut. And now the next part is bring the shape to get the noise shape. So mountain is the king, and of course you get a good value accordingly. Play around, it's all based on what you're after. So I don't have much voice, so I'll decrease. You see, I didn't like this one, so I'll decrease it, so that the noise, I have get rid of all the noises, and I think this is good. This is good to go. Yeah, I think I'm almost there to what I'm after. So now what we need is first, then we will color it, right? So to show you that, I have one more thing to show.